Section 4, D. Who Was Who by Irwin L. Gordon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by Sean McGahey.
Jim.
And Laurie Ann Walden.
Section 4, D. Daniel, ancient lion tamer, also performed the difficult feat of remaining in a fiery furnace without his family applying for the insurance.
Dante, of Italy, architect of the underworld, journalist, lover, and poor politician. Wrote articles for magazines, but used too much slang. Later, fell in love. The girl, see her, knew what journalists were and refused to spoon. Exasperated, he began a bombardment of poetry. That settled it. Dante then entered politics. Soon learned they did not mix with love and his business. Both he and his manuscripts were banished. Travelled in Italy, in the interests of safety. Posed for his bust while suffering with a bad attack of dyspepsia. Publications: poems, tragedies, and comedies. Ambition to be Beatrice's Romeo. Recreation, travel. Address: 2 Via Dante, Florence, seldom at home.
Danton, the man who wound up France before the Revolution.
Darling, Grace, a lighthouse keeper's daughter who showed the world that a woman may fear a mouse, but not a tempest. One of the truly brave who did not receive a Carnegie advertisement.
Darwin, Charlie. A well-known enemy of preachers, he discovered that many men look like their progenitors, and proved his theory with the exception of one link. The clergyman claimed that a chain with one link missing was no chain, and that Darwin was a nature faker. Publications: Origin of Species, a valuable book, even if it does fail to explain the currency bill.
Daughter, Pharaohs, an Egyptian princess who took a bath and rescued little Moses from the bulrushes. See Mose.
David, king, or Dave, shepherd, writer, musician, champion slingshot, and politician, son of poor parents. Entered army as a volunteer and was awarded medals for his attack upon Goliath. Appointed musician to the royal household. Became friendly with the Prince of Wales and succeeded in doing him out of the coronation. Later was elected king. Fell in love with Mrs. name not mentioned by newspapers. Gave her husband a conspicuous position in the army. Married her. Heir: Solomon. Publications: Psalms. Recreation: slinging. Address: Jerusalem.
Death: a hideous man who called at least once during a lifetime, usually toward the close. Patron of insurance companies. Nothing is known of his childhood. Historians claim he never had any. Possessed an ugly face, wore a sheet over his head, and always carried a scythe in his hands. Never brought happiness, although his visits frequently gave money to someone. Never could be bribed to pass a house he wished to enter. Many doctors and scientists have endeavoured to kill him, but he continues to be a safe bet at 100 to 1. Heir: none. Ambition: a happy home and prosperous graveyards. Recreation: sharpening scythes. Address: always hung out at a black cloth wherever he resided.
Delilah, friend of Samson, and quite a dip. She also accompanied Samson on a number of European and American opera expeditions.
Delmonico, founder of a Fifth Avenue New York City cafe where the cost of living has ever been high. He introduced the French menu into the U.S., and with it considerable indigestion.
Demosthenes, an old Greek talker.
Denis, saint, a saint with an Irish name who made good in France.
Depew, Chauncey M., an ancient railroad wealthy U.S. senator from the state of New York. He made after-dinner speeches, dedicated monuments, married a young wife, and was relegated to obscurity by the American voters.
Desdemona, of Venice, a lady whose handkerchief cost more than her clothes.
Daly, G., a French dancer who had sufficient charm to attract a royal press agent who could draw crowds and a big salary.
Devil, see Old Nick.
Dewar, John, inventor of a popular Scotch beverage, without which no cold day is complete.
Dewey, George E., a former American hero who totally destroyed a Spanish armada in Manila Bay. He received the homage of a nation, had cigars named after him, appeared in Who's Who, was paraded through the streets, married a widow, moved to Washington, got in bad with the inhabitants, and got out of the newspapers.
Diana, an ancient sportswoman who loved fox hunting, hounds, and the chase without the conventionalities of a society hunt. Address, Ephesus.
Diaz Porfirio, former king and political leader of Mexico, who departed from the social functions of a king to assist the government. Legends prevail to the effect that he patterned his actions on Napoleon Roosevelt policy. He also was requested to move. Ambition, a revolution, with himself on top. Recreation, the fandango. Address, 50 years in the White House of Mexico. Epitaph, Wilson never bothered me.
Dick, see Thomas and Harry.
Dick, Diamond, American 10-cent adventurer, friend of the messenger boys and embryo criminals. His biography formed an important part in the lives of boys who never visited the Carnegie libraries.
Dickens Charles, an English writer who wrote.
Dean, Gunga, a limpin lump of brick dust, water carrier. Employed in H.R.H. service in India. Wore few clothes. Fought in many battles. Frequently gave bad water to soldiers. Rescued Thomas Atkins, but was shot while in the act. Saved the government the price of a medal. His pathetic story was widely published. Later it fell into disfavor in the U.S. and Great Britain, it now being considered a crime to recite the story. Ambition, to come back like Sherlock Holmes. Recreation, sleep. Address, care of biographer.
Diogenes, the most foolish man who ever lived. He endeavored to find something with a lantern which could not even be located with a searchlight. Ambition, a brighter lantern. Recreation, cleaning globes. Address, tub. Epitaph, here lies a man who attempted the impossible.
Disraeli, a Hebrew who gave up the trades of his ancestors to run England.
Doe, John, an honest man who was defrauded out of millions by persons who forged his name.
Doodle, Yankee, American horseman who made people take off their hats, shout, and whistle when he rode into town.
Dorcas, a modiste, who founded the church gossip societies.
Dowie, alias Elijah II, a celebrated Chicago divine who showed the world how easily some people were deprived of their money and religion.
Drake, Francis, an English admiral who did not have a public square named after him. Drake also introduced the spud into Ireland.
Dreamer, T.H.E., castle builder, lived long ago and intended doing something today. Spent much time thinking about the best girl in the world. A great friend of procrastinator. Went through life waiting for tomorrow. Several men, however, with the same name, have awakened and given their dreams to the world. See Columbus, etc., and Lady Macbeth.
Drew, John, prehistoric American actor.
Dreyfus, Captain, founder of the Dreyfus case. Got out of jail by being one of the few innocent men who got into print.
Duff, Mac, a Scotchman who gained fame because he was a good layer-on.
Dumpty, H., celebrated accident victim. Fell from a wall at an early age and never recovered, despite the services of specialists.
Done. Another